Hello, I am Joel Bloom at New Jersey Institute of Technology. We pride ourselves on being part of the Newark community and its advancements in technology, the economy, and the growth of the city. That's why we are very proud to partner with the Caucus Educational Corporation to produce Newark at the Crossroads right here on the NJIT campus. We hope you enjoy this special series.
Funding for this special edition of One-on-One with Steve Adubato at NJIT has been provided by NJIT, New Jersey Institute of Technology, TD Bank, the Fidelco Group, United Airlines, Verizon Communications, the Northward Center, and by PSE&G, committed to improving New Jersey's economy and strengthening its communities. Promotional support provided by NJ Biz, all business, all New Jersey, and by New Jersey Monthly, the magazine of the Garden State, available at newsstands.
This is One-on-One.
When you first heard that they were doing Charlie Rose and Gayle King, didn't you go, what?
People like laughing at others, so I don't mind if the other is me.
See, you go right into the character. That's what it is.
I'm bringing families together a half an hour each week. Man, I'm doing something special.
And so I do feel successful.
Hi, Steve Adubato here. We're on the campus of NJIT, the New Jersey Institute of Technology, talking healthcare in the city of Newark. Newark is at a crossroads. We are pleased to welcome our friend Barry Ostrowsky, President and Chief Executive Officer of Barnabas Health, and also Barbara Mintz, who is Vice President of Healthy Living and Community Engagement at Barnabas Health. And I would say you're my friend, but also my workout partner.
That's right.
You work out on a regular basis, and healthy living is a part of your life. You live it every day.
Yes, I do.
Which is part of your job.
Mm-hmm.
Describe your job, and then we'll bring Barry into it.
Oh, wow. Well, I think I have the best job in the world. I get to
well
do
said.
And that just wasn't for Barry.
That's right.
I get to do what I love to do, which is teach people how to stay healthy by the choices that they make and the food that they choose and exercising. It doesn't get any better than that for me.
Is it more challenging in Newark? I mean, this series is called Newark at a Crossroads, and we talk about healthy living in Newark. More challenging, Barry?
I think it is. I mean, Barbara is the embodiment of our new mission, truly. We need to teach people how to live healthier, and we're doing it for everyone's benefit, of course. But when you live in an urban setting where there's limited access to fresh foods, where there are other social pressures on the family, I think it's very difficult to have the discipline and commitment, understandably, to this new, healthier lifestyle. And it's going to take time, but it requires a champion. Barbara's an incredible champion for us. And as I say, we need to follow Barbara. I'm no poster child necessarily for Olympic athletes, but I think that Barbara can teach us all. And the challenge in Newark is to make sure we get receptivity.
Let's talk about kids. What programs are we talking about and what impact?
KidsFit actually started a couple of years ago as a way to address the obesity epidemic that we were seeing in our clinics. We were seeing children, 11-year-olds, Steve, that were 300 pounds, BMIs over 40 and 50.
Body mass?
Body mass index.
Right.
So we felt compelled to do something to help these poor kids. So we developed a program that actually teaches them how to make better choices in a very difficult environment. We teach their parents as well.
Working with the Newark Public Schools.
And now we are in the Newark Public Schools. In fact, we're branching out into the greater Newark area beyond Newark. In the fall, we have 11 schools on the docket for KidsFit. So.
How hard is it to get kids to eat vegetables?
Very difficult. You look at them and I've heard words yucky or, a bunch of different words about vegetables. But we have a garden, and it's a part of our KidsFit curriculum, and it actually sort of gets kids involved in planting their own fruits and vegetables.
You're growing food right there, part of the hospital. By the way, Newark Beth, make that connection because people think Barnabas Health big. Newark Beth
Israel Medical Center is our institution in Newark.
Well, there's a garden there.
Well, we fostered urban gardening so that you can grow fruits and vegetables that you can consume. Absolutely.
Someone might say, why is the hospital, why is the healthcare system doing that? I mean, people get sick, devil's advocate, people get sick, you come in, the hospital takes care of you. Why are you doing all this stuff?
Well, I think beyond just treating people when they're sick, I think it should be our mission to provide education to people just to keep them healthy and well and keep them out of the hospital. I know that sounds crazy, but that is the way we should be going. We are definitely committed to taking care of our of our communities. We have all the expertise within our four walls. We should be doing that in the community, teaching people from our own expertise and our education on how to prevent disease, how to make better choices, give them programs whereby they can actually make some changes in their own behaviors and choices as it relates to their health, get their preventative screenings, eat better, exercise more. But some of that is difficult to connect those dots because people don't realize that the choices they make can actually affect their health.
Yeah, and we've talked about this. I disclosed on another segment with Barry. I'll disclose it here as well. I've moderated a whole range of community forums that we've had that Barnabas Health has sponsored. And when I've moderated those around Newark-centric, the greater Newark area, healthcare needs, a lot of the folks around that table come from the religious community. Barry, talk about the outreach efforts to religious leaders and what it has to do with the healthcare of people in the city of Newark.
I think when you start to change our mission and you start to contribute to communities, you need a couple of things. One, you need champions, people who will go out and speak to the new mission and speak to the things that Barbara and her colleagues are doing programmatically. And you also need people who are respected. A champion who isn't respected isn't really very valuable in this. So when you go to the clergy in Newark, these are community leaders. These are people who are very well respected by their constituencies, parishioners, congregations. And so as we sit down and we talk about it, they help spread the word of this new mission of ours, which is not simply conventional clinical care, but improvement in lifestyle to avert illness.
Is that population health or population management, as you referred to in our other interview?
We see it as precisely that. We see it as our responsibility to contribute to the well-being of populations. And the way to do that is to help manage the population and contribute to their lifestyle improvement. It's an intrusive idea.
Intrusive.
Well, people say, why are you telling me what to eat? Why are you telling me what to do after school? And I can accept that. We typically are folks who like to make our own decisions. But what we haven't done effectively is discuss what are the consequences of bad decisions.
Higher diabetes rates, heart problems.
Exactly.
Whole range of issues.
Exactly. The healthcare outcome data for the 300,000 or so who live in Newark is not good. And so it needs to be improved.
Yeah, real quick, Essex County. Essex County ranks 19 of 21 counties in health outcomes, a whole range of areas. And by the way, part of the thing that Barnabas Health is doing a couple of years ago when you started the Beth Challenge, what is that? Because I know that was something you tried to do internally to send a message, which has become a national model. What is it?
Well, it actually started out to be a sort of a weight loss contest with our employees. We thought we'd get 50 people to sign up. We ended up getting at 500. At the end of 12 weeks, those employees lost 2,000 pounds. So with that success, we took it straight to the community, specifically the churches, and now we're in 12 churches. And together with Newark Beth, we've lost over 20,000 pounds, lowered blood pressures. Our folks have come off any kind of medication that deals with the comorbidity of obesity. It's a way to engage people. There is an incentive to it. I mean, you get prizes at the end, but it's interesting. Most people never ask me what the prize is. They just want to go through the journey. They want to make better choices. They want the information and the education on how to do that, particularly in Newark, which really is. Yeah, they do.
They need support.
And it is a food desert, and it is also difficult to exercise on a regular basis.
Real quick, food desert means, for those who don't know?
Not access to the kinds of healthy foods that typically people have in other areas. So we need to foster not only our own urban growers, but we need supermarkets that will in fact sell the fresh foods that we need.
Yeah, by the way, as we end the segment, one of the things we'll be talking about in the series Newark at a Crossroads is the fact that Whole Foods is coming to the city of Newark, and Aero Farms, right, which is vertical farming, which we'll talk a little bit about. Listen, Newark is changing, and Newark Beth, Barnabas Health, particularly with the merger that we talked about with Robert Wood Johnson, that healthcare system, a big part of it. Barbara and Barry, thank you so much for joining us. Newark is at a crossroads, and particularly when it comes to healthcare issues. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you.
Stay with us. We're right back from NJIT, one-on-one. Newark is at a crossroads.
To see more one-on-one with Steve Adubato programs, visit us online at steveadubato.org. If you would like to express an opinion, email us at info@caucusnj.org. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Steve Adubato PhD, and follow us on Twitter at Steve Adubato.
We are pleased to welcome back, it was a year ago that she was here, Lata Reddy, who is Vice President of Corporate Social Responsibility, President, the Prudential Foundation at Prudential Financial. Good to see you.
Thank you. Good to see you, too.
I cannot believe that it was 1 year ago. We were sitting here at New Jersey Institute of Technology, Newark at a crossroads. 12 months. Just a few things have happened.
A few.
Can we go through some of them?
Absolutely.
There's a very significant initiative, the Haynes Building. Haynes Building, for those of you who don't know the city that well, Haynes Building, the transformation there is significant because, describe it.
Well, for several reasons. One, this is an iconic building, right, in Newark's history, and unfortunately has laid dormant for the past 4 decades. And it was a difficult asset to redevelop it for a number of reasons. The forces are with us, and the right factors came together, and we were able to make a move. And so what this will do is really activate a part of the city that has been sort of sleepy for a while, and begin to create some corridors between the university community, NJPAC, the new Prudential Tower, and really add some vibrancy to that part of downtown.
Oh, that little thing you guys are doing?
Little thing.
Yeah, by the way, describe the Prudential Tower, and then we'll talk about Prudential's 140-year commitment and connection to the city. Go ahead.
So we just opened our brand new office tower, 20 stories, beautiful state-of-the-art building in the heart of downtown Newark.
Yeah, what's the 140 years about? Describe that.
140 years, so it's 140 years of partnership with Newark. We were founded here and have remained here throughout our history, and started as a small company to provide life insurance for the working class, and we had policies as cheap as a nickel a week, and now we are a global Fortune 50 company.
Why the commitment to the city?
Well, part of our ethos is to be part of the solution. So we're in the business of creating innovative solutions to complex challenges. And we didn't want to just be here in Newark, but we wanted to be part of the answer to the challenges that the city has faced.
And there's some very specific initiatives that we're going to talk about. Aero Farms. I was reading about it and I thought, I need someone to break this down for me because I think I understand it, but help folks understand. What is Aero Farms?
Sure. So Aero Farms is something we're all very excited about. It is the largest indoor vertical farming operation.
Vertical farming.
Vertical farming. So it uses aeroponic techniques to grow leafy greens. And what that means is there's some nutrient cloth that is used, as well as mist and special lighting to grow these greens. And so what's transformative about it is it cuts down the production time of the produce. It's about half the time as it would take using traditional methods. It uses about 95% less water to grow these. So we're talking about sustainable agriculture. It's something that can be done in the heart of downtown Newark, which is what we're doing. So the facility will be located in the Ironbound district in Newark.
Lata, why does it matter?
It matters for a few reasons. It's, simply, right? We're talking about the appetite that literally and figuratively for locally grown sustainable produce, right? So this venture will bring that right here to Newark and to the surrounding region. It is creating jobs in the area. So these are jobs that will be quality jobs. So in the, some related to technology, some related to other parts of the operation, maintaining the facility and that sort of thing. So jobs that will be accessible to Newark residents. And in fact, they are creating a training program. We're working with the Ironbound Community Corporation to do just that.
Ironbound Community Corporation, Joe Delafave.
Correct.
Terrific not-for-profit organization that we have partnered with at our not-for-profit production company, the Caucus Educational Corporation. Great group of folks every day working at it. You need to partner up, don't you?
Yes, absolutely. It's all about collaboration and leadership, and none of us could do any of this on our own. So no matter how much money you have or how many great ideas you have, it takes all of us pulling together.
Talk about partnering up. Newark Venture Partners. Our friend sat in that chair last summer, Don Katz from Audible. I'm sure he might have been thinking about some of this stuff, but now it's a reality. What is this initiative, and why is that so significant? And also talk about Prudential's connection.
So Newark Venture Partners has a couple of components. It is an early stage venture fund and a tech accelerator. So the idea is to attract high-tech companies, high-growth companies, right, to Newark. So companies that are going to provide jobs. We know that for every one job in the tech industry that's created, 5 other jobs are created in the ecosystem. So again, lots of potential for employment. It will add to the vibrancy, again, in a creative economy, right? So the notion that you bring people together from the knowledge economy, so engineers and artists and the like, who can work together for positive change. It's an opportunity, again, for Newark residents to access some of these jobs, so simultaneous. Well, to begin to train, right, young people in coding. So, for example, Girls Who Code, that's an initiative that's happening right here this summer in Newark, training young women in how to do coding. And so those are many of the jobs of the future, and quality jobs that pay good wages, right, and have good benefits. So it's an exciting opportunity, again, to really grow that sector here in Newark. And by the way, here in Newark is where we have some of the fastest free public Wi-Fi in the country.
Yeah, talk about the Wi-Fi piece, because Prudential's been at the heart of that whole initiative.
We've invested in that as well, alongside Audible and others, and that again is to create this high band, Wi-Fi in the heart of downtown, but also, as importantly, working with the city to connect it beyond the downtown corridor. So we're working to put it into recreational centers that are run by the city, so that residents can access the Wi-Fi as well.
Do you think that sometimes, even though some of us who were born and raised in the city, but live outside the city, even though a lot of our work is here, but also those who don't really have much interaction with the city, that they don't understand or appreciate why some of these things, including Whole Foods coming to Newark, and some of these high-tech initiatives and the creation of some of these jobs, and this being a food desert and creating opportunities through very interesting and innovative opportunities and ways to grow food. Long-winded way of asking this question. Do you think a lot of people don't realize why it's such a big deal in a city like Newark?
I think some people don't see the potential, right? So they don't.
Potential
of the city. I'm not sure that people, right? It's a big deal because there's so much here, right? There's so many assets in this city, and so
there are also a lot of firsts.
There are a lot of firsts. There are, and so and some of it's about taking risks, right? But we're not going to get anywhere if we don't take some informed risks.
But
right?
what do you mean? Because you said there's opportunity here. Like, what could come out of this?
So, well, again, jobs, right? Real economic opportunities for residents to begin to contribute to the economy of the region in a way that Newark already does, but again, that is additive and a lot of value add. And but to us, at the heart of it, it really is about opportunities for individuals and for families, right? To improve their standing, to attain financial security that they might not have otherwise. So all of these opportunities, whether they're educational, jobs, right? It all leads to that.
You're bullish about this city.
Very much so.
For a lot of reasons.
For a lot of reasons, and because we see so much good, right? We look around and we see assets. We see things to build upon, and so we know the potential that the city has, and we're willing to place our money where our mouth is.
Before I let you go, real quick, any initiative that we missed that Prudential is particularly interested in that really matters?
I think we've covered them. I mean, there's so many more, but those are some things.
And by the way, the Prudential Foundation, to disclose fully, is an underwriter, a supporter of an initiative that we're involved in that provides leadership and communication and training for young people throughout the city of Newark, particularly through the Newark Public Schools and through nonprofits. It's called Stand and Deliver, and I just wanted to acknowledge that. Real quick before I let you go on this one, you don't expect this one. The greatest leadership lesson you have learned in your work so far is?
Change management, I would say.
Change management?
Yeah.
You're involved in a little bit of that, just a little bit. Really?
A little bit. Yeah, the importance of communicating related to that, right? You can never over-communicate. And I think the simpler the message, the better, but to continue to share with people where you are and where you're going. And I think it's important in many contexts, right? For us as leaders in our individual spheres, but also when you think about the city, and to help people understand, what's ahead, what's possible, and help them figure out how to get there.
I just want you to know I didn't come at you, out of the blue with that. That is part of a series we're doing called Lessons in Leadership. We'll take that clip and use it. Trust me, it'll be very valuable.
Terrific.
Because you're involved in a lot of change with Prudential. Thank you very much, Lata. I appreciate it. This is one-on-one from a great institution called NJIT. This is Newark at a crossroads, a very important one. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Thank you so much.
To see more one-on-one with Steve Adubato programs, visit us online at steveadubato.org. If you would like to express an opinion, email us at info@caucusnj.org. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Steve Adubato PhD, and follow us on Twitter at Steve Adubato.
We're pleased to welcome Jeffrey Farrell, CEO, Habitat for Humanity, Newark. Good to see you, Jeff.
Good to see you, Steve.
You guys have been doing some great things. Accurate or not, Habitat has gone from building 2 homes a year to 8 to 10 a year?
That's right.
How are you doing that?
Well, we started first with really creating a strategic action plan, and it was a conversation that we had, including our board of directors and myself, to really look at the need within Newark. And we realized that we wanted to help more families, and we also wanted to start helping veterans as well.
Yeah, we'll talk about that as well, because you're hooked up with the GI Go Fund, some great folks there. What is Habitat for Humanity? Because a lot of people say, oh, that's a Jimmy Carter thing. You're a lot more than that.
Absolutely. Well, there are 2 myths. The first myth is that Jimmy Carter actually started Habitat. Jimmy actually and Rosana are our most well-known volunteers. And the other myth is that we give homes away for free. We don't. So we are a international affordable housing nonprofit, and we build in 70 countries throughout the world, and we have about 1,400 affiliates here in the United States, and our affiliate is Habitat Newark.
Jeff, how does someone qualify for a home?
Well, Steve, they qualify, they have to meet 3 criteria. The first is they have to have a need. So we do a home visit, and typically you'll find that they're living in substandard housing conditions. There's a lot of mold-infested, rodent-infested kind of housing. The second is that they have to have the ability to pay. They need to be working for at least 2 years. They have to have low debt-to-income ratio. And the last is they have to be willing to partner. So they got to be willing to put in at least 200 hours of sweat equity working on their home or a home of another family partner as well. And that sweat equity on a day like today where it's hot outside, it's real sweat that comes out. So.
Yeah, by the way, we're taping in August of 2015 here at NJIT in the heart of the city of Newark. You have more volunteers than you've ever had before. Who are these people?
These are the men and women of the community, major corporations, faith-based groups, college students, high school students from not just Newark, but from all over Essex County as well. So we're really excited about that.
Do people have to know? I've often wondered about this. Like, I don't really know how to find a beam in our house. Does it matter?
No, it
doesn't matter?
It doesn't matter. We have a trained professional staff. So if you come out, Steve, we'll show you where to find the beam, but also, we train the volunteers on how to use the equipment, how to use a chop saw, and so they're monitored throughout the day. And if they have any questions or are uncomfortable doing any work, that's not a problem as well.
Jeff, how serious is the affordable housing problem in the city of Newark?
It's an enormous need to create more affordable housing. I mean, Steve, Newark, it has about 278,000 residents living in Newark. The average person earns only $34,000 a year, and the home ownership rate in Newark is only 22%.
What is it statewide?
65. So
do that again.
Yeah.
65%
home ownership rate
statewide. In the city of Newark?
22%.
It's about one of the lowest communities in the state for home ownership?
Absolutely. That's why Habitat is needed now more than ever, and that's why we're building more, and we can double that if we have the continued support from the community, both in terms of financial support, but also volunteers as well.
When you turn the keys over to a family, to a veteran, what's it like for you? And then talk about what you think it's like for them.
Well, for myself, and I think for our organization, we say this is the best job that you can have. I have the best job in the world, and it's just it's inspiring, it's motivating, and you get goosebumps, and sometimes it brings a tear to your eye to be able to help veterans, some of them who are disabled, to really build the American dream. And these are brave men and women who served our country honorably. They deserve to have home ownership.
Yeah, the Veterans Initiative that you're involved in, what is it?
So it's our way to help veterans, throughout the country and here in Newark to help those veterans with permanent home ownership. So they apply to the program, and if they qualify, they're out there, building with us and with the support from the volunteers to get a Habitat house. Don't forget Habitat.
Break that down a little bit, because the GI Go Fund. We've done some programming in cooperation with them. Describe who they are and how they're connected to this.
So the GI Go Fund is really it's a social service agency founded here in Newark. We work very closely with their executive director, Jack Fanous, great guy.
Jack's a great guy.
Yeah, Jack is. And they are helping us reach out to find veterans. So we're building the home.
Find them?
Well, the problem is a lot of veterans don't know what they are entitled to. They don't understand maybe what their benefits are, and they don't understand that if they're, for instance, permanently disabled, they earn enough from their disability to qualify for a Habitat home. So we're working closely with them to get the word out.
So interesting. Someone mentioned before we were doing an interview, and one of your colleagues mentioned Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Abraham Maslow, and without getting into overly philosophical discussion, but the most basic need that Maslow identified was food and shelter. And what he said was, if you don't take care of that need, of shelter, then every other human need that we have becomes irrelevant. It's food and shelter. Talk about that shelter piece.
Sure. The shelter piece is so important. There are a lot of statistics out there, and just to kind of crystallize that, housing is a critical foundation and a springboard for so many positive outcomes.
Without a home.
Without a home, you don't do well in school. So children that grow up in a home versus, for instance, rental housing, they are 25% more likely to graduate from high school and 116 times more likely to go to college. And the Habitat home is a healthy home. So if you
what does that mean?
Well, we build to Energy Star standards. Our homes are healthy. We use high efficiency HVAC systems. We ensure that it's a mold-free environment. So our families are in a healthy home, and it allows them to excel in other areas of their life. So if you want to address, or you want a good prescription for a healthy family, you got to give them a healthy home.
And real quick, volunteers are needed, money is needed?
Volunteers, money, and getting the word out. So in the fall, we have our corporate challenge where we invite companies from around New Jersey to get involved. And for 2 months, they're sending their employees. They get to meet the family partners. They engage in team building, and they also learn how to swing a hammer.
Number one leadership lesson you've learned so far is?
To be a better listener.
It never gets out of style.
No, it doesn't. And we had for practical purposes, we had an experience recently with family partners, and here we are designing these homes. And then during a NJIT event, we invited our family partners to help review the designs, and we found out that what we were designing needed to be modified, and we had to listen to them about what needs they had. So,
Jeff, you and your organization, Habitat for Humanity in Newark, are doing great work. Just keep it up. Thank you.
Thanks, Steve.
One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been a production of the Caucus Educational Corporation, celebrating over 25 years of broadcast excellence. Funding for this special edition of One-on-One with Steve Adubato at NJIT has been provided by NJIT, TD Bank, the Fidelco Group, United Airlines, Verizon Communications, the Northward Center, and by PSE&G. Transportation provided by Airbrook Limousine, serving the metropolitan New York, New Jersey area. One-on-One with Steve Adubato at NJIT has been produced in cooperation with FiOS One News.
Hi, I'm Eric. You might see me as an ordinary person, but I've been living with a brain injury for nearly 2 years. One of my struggles is short-term memory loss. At Opportunity Project, I'm given hope and support, and I've gained my confidence back through the job placement program. Despite my challenges, I have a reason to keep improving. Today, even though life has changed me, I believe that anything is possible.
If you have a brain injury, you don't have to face your road to recovery alone.